So this season's definitely had roller coasters for me. I've gone through all the emotions and you've seen them all, that's for sure.
Brock, how are you feeling watching back this season so far?
Wow, this season was definitely, you know, I to be honest, I kind of put myself in these positions, right? I was open about my past and I was okay talking about it. So, and that kind of led to a lot of like, you know, reflection. And it's something that it's crazy saying like, yeah, I moved over here and I wanted to grow up and do things for my family and that, but like and that's something I've always worked towards, like on the success side of things, but like the mental side of things, I've actually dealing with that emotion tied to my kids and tied with my ex. I think I didn't really understand much of it until I actually talked about it. And I had a moment, like, because before I spoke with Lisa the last episode, before that, I was kind of like, just look, can you just respect my space? Like, forget about it. Blah, blah. And then it wasn't, and then Lala was having her opinion towards it, which was fine. You know, she was just voicing hers, and it kind of helped me kind of talk about it a little bit. But it wasn't until I shared kind of like how I actually felt, regardless of what the situation was, but how I felt in the situation with Lisa was when she wasn't happy with like what I said and what I owned up to, but it was just for the fact of me being able to tell somebody else how I feel. And that was, for me, was huge for kind of dealing and understanding with that process of what I've been through and what I'll put my kids through, everything else. So as you guys have seen this season, I've definitely had a very therapeutic approach to it because it's for me, I've really enjoyed being able to talk about it. And it was crazy that I did it on national television, which is just wild, you know? So I'm lucky for it, but also I guess I wouldn't be in this position either without understanding more of like my ex's side because of Chyna, because I actually respect her opinion. And before I was very selfish and I saw it was always about me. So this season's definitely had roller coasters for me. I've gone through all the emotions and you've seen them all, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And but I think at the end of it, as long as it keeps me accountable and I know like I am not going back that way ever again. So, and that's the plan anyway. Yeah.
No, definitely.
I'm doing good.
Yeah. I mean, Chyna, I think it's interesting that Brock says that like you helped him understand his ex's perspective. I mean, how did you help him do that? And has your ex seen your growth?
I just listened to her, honestly. I mean, we had a very long FaceTime with her where I told him to just shut up, let her talk. She needed to be heard. And I listened and I just, you know, as a very empathetic person, I just understood where she was coming from, you know, with the baby on the way. I couldn't imagine what she had been through. And I know that they were both young and they had a very tumultuous relationship. And it was better that, you know, they did separate. But just from a woman's point of view, I was like, you really need to look at it from her perspective and not how just you were feeling.
Right.
And I think that really helped after we had that like face to face over FaceTime, but that conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. And Brock, has there been growth in your relationship with your ex?
Yeah, so the growth part, like on our relationship, I want to say yes, but it just came with stipulations. And it was like, if you can prove to me that you can do this, then we'll take the next step. And that was the child support. So for me, my one goal was to knock off that child support before the end of the season finishes and gets everything out. It wasn't easy to do, but we're nearly there. So probably by next month, when we go to film reunion, it's going to be completely done. I've paid it all off. And then hopefully then I can start a conversation with them to go to the next steps and be like, look, I've done what you've asked now. Because I think for her, it's more of a symbolic thing. It has nothing to do, because I'm not paying her child support. I'm paying the government.
It's the principle of it.
Of course, yeah.
It's the principle of me saying, look, I want to change. And I've said that for 8 years with her. So she kind of was like, cool, well, if you really want to change, the kids are fine. They don't need you right now. Pay the child support and show that you can be a freaking adult. Yeah. That was it. And so, and I think, yeah, our relationship's far from being fixed, but if I can do that, we're taking the right steps towards that anyway. And
still no FaceTime with the kids yet?
No, that's going to be the next step, hopefully. But it's the biggest one for me is kind of like reminding everybody that these are two little minds that have a stepdad that is their dad. That's been their dad since Summer was born, since Winter was born, sorry. And then since Eli was 4, he has been a part of their life. So that is where there's like, you don't hear this sort of on the show where there's kids involved. I can't just FaceTime them and just really their day up.
Yeah.
Because I was disappeared. I wasn't around for that period of time. So I think for me, the goal will just to be follow their rules that put in place, but then push a little bit, but not push them up too much, because it's up to the kids now to be like, well, actually, we do want to talk to dad. So hopefully we get there. Selfishly, I want to, but there's kids involved now.
Of course, but the kids are fully aware that you are, putting in the work. Are they aware that you're on the show too?
I don't know. We don't know about the show because they keep a very private life. Was what they tell me, but 100%. Hey You is big in Australia, so it definitely didn't make these next steps easier talking about this. So, especially back home, because now we have a platform, and so I have to be very respectful of that, knowing that I can't ever talk down towards her because I don't want her to ever be offended of the platform that we have.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely made it a little bit more difficult, but I think we'll come out of this on the top at the end. We'll get back together hopefully soon, and then who knows? Maybe you guys a little spin-off in Australia, and we go down under with Chyna and Summer.
Yeah,
I'm sure, and I'm sure you probably want Summer to have a relationship with your other kids too, and I'm sure Chyna, you want that as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I named Summer Summer. Like everyone laughs at me for like namesaking. I was like, listen, people do it. The Kardashians all have K's, right? Like. There is a tie between my daughters that over the oceans, they're going to know that they're each other. They belong to each other. And I look forward to bringing our families together. And I think in the future, like as long as we just can make the right steps, we'll get there.
Congratulations on Homebody. I know we're just probably a few weeks away from maybe the launch.
Yeah, so we'll be doing our launch in January. I'm looking forward to that. We're just trying to figure out all the kinks, but I think visually we're going to get there. What it will look like for our launch will be a 30-day challenge for all 3 months, not just January. Everyone kind of jumps on board to January. I'm going to set some goals and then they fall off on probably like the 15th to the 18th. So we're going to make sure it's supportive enough to get a lot of people just moving and trying to achieve the first 30 days. And then we're going to run 3 more competitions each month. Bang, bang, bang. Cash incentive prizes, access to a lot of great trainers, and kind of build us up as a foundation to start us off and really get people moving and goal setting. And that's it. Have access to some great trainers. I'm excited.
That's awesome. So when they download the app, they have access to all different trainers all over, right?
So it's like Cameo for health and fitness. So if you have an influencer that you follow and they host a live class, you just meet them on there. They'll schedule it. You'll jump on there and you can pay for a class, or you can have a subscription-based model and drop in and join your influencer for a class.